Hello everyone and welcome to this new Dota Underlords video. So, the big update is coming. It's coming very soon. And today, or for some people maybe yesterday, the developers started releasing some information about this update. So, right now, I haven't seen anything yet because I didn't want to get spoiled. Instead, I decided to record a live sort of reaction to all these changes. Upcoming changes, I guess you could say. So, right away, we can see three new heroes that I'm guessing are going to be added to this game. So, this is Weaver, this is Nyx Assassin, and this is Dazzle. So, what exactly do they do then? Well, in Dota, Weaver's job is to constantly disappear and reappear using his regular attack to slowly but surely whittle down people who are also weakened by a minus armor spell that he has. Nyx Assassin is a hero that sneaks up on people while invisible, stabs them in the back, and then uses a burst of damage and disables to hopefully bring them down. So I'm guessing this is going to be an assassin, but we'll see soon if it's actually true or not. This is Dazzle. If you played Dota Auto Chess, you should already be familiar with Dazzle because it was added to the game, before Dota Underlords came out, or not came out, but the beta became available. So Dazzle's job is to heal his allies, sometimes make them unkillable, like he did in Dota Auto Chess, slow them down, and his another ability, his ultimate, reduces his cooldowns, allowing him to do all of it faster, as well as reduces the opponent's armor. So it will be very interesting what kinds of abilities and alliances these heroes have. I'm guessing Nyx Assassin is going to be an assassin. Weaver, I am completely unsure, like literally have no idea. And Dazzle is going to be maybe some new alliance, like supporting or something. I don't know. Let's see. Let's actually read what's written there instead of speculating, because I'm sure we will be able to see all of it here. So, the bugged update preview. New Heroes and Alliances Part 1. The big update is shipping soon, and we can't help but start to talk about it. There are many pieces to this update, hence the name, and we'll be sharing new details every day until release. Okay, so might have to make a bit more videos than I expected. Alright, sure. At a high level, the big update marks the beginning of the end of the Underlords beta. Okay, that's very important. So soon, we can finally expect an influx of new players that we've been desperately needing to revive this game, because right now it's kind of dead. We've been constantly learning and experimenting over the last few months, and with this update, we are polishing away a big chunk of beta, getting us ever closer to version 1.0. It says even closer, but whatever. We'd like to start our previews by showcasing heroes and alliances that make part of the new roster. Let's get started. So, Healer Alliance, yes. Healer Alliance and Dazzle. So, as you can see here, Enchantress, Warlock, Dazzle, Omni Knight, Necrophos. That's very interesting, actually. So, are they not going to be Warlocks anymore, or what? Or is this alliance just going to be added on top of everything else? Let's see. Dazzle. Okay, so as expected, the bonus of the alliance is that all healing is amplified, but it doesn't say by how much. Let's see. Maybe it's written below. I don't know. So, Dazzle, Tier 2. Okay, so will cost 2 gold. Shadow Wave releases what? Dazzle sends out a bolt of power that arcs between allies, healing them while damaging any nearby enemies. Okay, so like I said, this is his healing ability from Dota 2. Yeah, it's sort of this pink, like a lightning bolt, sort of, that bounces between allies and heals them. And every ally that is healed does damage around them. The damage is, at least in Dota, the damage is very small, and it's also physical, so it gets reduced by armor and gets worse and worse as the game progresses. But we can't say for sure yet if it's going to be the same in Underlords. It remains to be seen. So, Troll Healer. Huh. This means the 4 Trolls Alliance will be a lot easier to attain, but whether or not that changes anything, it's hard to say right now. We might see some wacky builds like Knights with early 4 Trolls, or perhaps Knights or Warriors, most likely, because, you know, Trolls are kind of squishy. I'm assuming Dazzle will also be squishy here. And so they will need a front line, and Knights and Warriors are the 2 most likely candidates. So, as we can see here, this Healer Alliance, apparently the tier 1 bonus is achieved by collecting 3 of the 5 heroes. So I'm assuming they might add another one later, and it will be 3 and 6. But for now, I'm guessing it's just 3. Maybe it's going to be 2 and 4. It doesn't exactly say anywhere around here, so we don't know yet. I'm kind of not really on board with the name Healer. It doesn't sound as fancy, you know, not like Priest, like you could say in like you had in Dota Auto Chess, or, you know, anything like that, or Cleric or whatever. But I guess not many of those guys are actually priests or clerics, so that's whatever. Clerics, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Okay, so the next big thing, insects. The Insects Alliance is also here, ready to bug your opponents with 3 new heroes: Weaver, Nyx Assassin, likely shown already, and Broodmother. Okay, so first of all, Broodmother is not an insect. No, Broodmother is a spider. And in case someone still doesn't know, spiders are not insects. This triggers me to no end. Like, I'm really sorry, but it just has to be said. Oh, and of course, they put Sand King into it as well. So, Sand King and Broodmother aren't insects. Sand King is a scorpion. Broodmother is a spider. Spiders and scorpions aren't insects. They belong to another taxon. In this case, I think it's called suborder, called arachnids. So this is terrible. This is absolutely terrible. Like, any other name pretty much is better than insects, honestly. Like, you could say arthropods, you could say bugs, which, yeah, that kind of works. And yeah, this is pretty much the worst thing you could have done. Spitting in the face of the scientific community of the world like that is just oof. Okay, so what does it say? Spiderlings swarm enemies from the edge of the board. Enemies bitten by spiderlings have a chance to miss their attack. Okay, so that sounds like there will be a lot of spiders. So I'm guessing the Alliance tiers will actually be achieved at 2 and 4 different heroes, because, you know, 4 is just too perfect. And not at 3 like it shows here, but again, it remains to be seen. They may just... The Alliance effect might be strong enough that they introduce it at 3. Yeah. That they only have 1 tier and it's achieved at 3 heroes. Spiderlings swarm enemies. So looks like there will be a lot of spiderlings, so this should be fairly weak to AoE damage. And if your enemies have a single target lineup, like, I don't know, say hunters, perhaps, with like without Beastmaster or without Windranger, or any of those things, your opponents might be in serious trouble. Again, the bonus of the insects is that a bunch of spiderlings come out. Again, like I said, spiders aren't insects, so this is terrible. Tier 2, Weaver. Okay. Oh yeah, and he has the hunter bonus, which actually, the hunter bonus is kind of similar to one of Weaver's abilities from Dota. He used to have this ability called Geminate Attack, which caused him to one of his attacks to be duplicated every 4, 3, or 2 seconds, depending on the level. Weaver shifts out of visibility, becoming untargetable, and moves through targets, dealing damage to each enemy it passes. So yeah, it basically becomes invisible, then it repositions, so it loses aggro, like its enemies start attacking something else, and then it basically appears behind the enemies and just continues attacking. So an interesting choice, because, you know, it's a mobile hunter. Like, on one hand, it's a hunter, it's probably going to be squishy and have a ranged attack, but on the other hand, it's going to move around a lot like an assassin. Even though it's the ability, not the fact that it belongs to the assassin class in this case. So it might nicely complement some melee hunters like Beastmaster and Lycan, because they can basically, you can put them all in a row, and then Weaver can take some damage and then disappear, which means its enemies will stop attacking it. So it's kind of like Warfling in a lot of ways, except it's a hunter. And its survivability, well, if Dota is anything to go by, its survivability should be garbage. I mean, health and armor, of course. Maybe they will edit it slightly in Underlords to make its health pool like bearable, but I wouldn't bank on that. Like, remember when they introduced Pudge to the game? Pudge still has the highest health pool of all units, and this is pretty much the exact same thing that happens in Dota. So I'm guessing they try to carry over how heroes feel like playing, and they try to carry over those feelings to Underlords, which means Weaver should be super squishy and like die super easily. I'm sure there will be some practical applications for it. We just don't quite know them yet. So, Nyx Assassin. Okay, so Tier 1, interestingly enough. So another Tier 1 Assassin. There are already two of them. There's Bloodseeker and Bounty Hunter, and they're adding yet another. So some kind of an early rerolled Assassin build coming, perhaps? Very cool. So, it has two abilities, actually, interestingly enough. That's kind of unusual for a Tier 1 unit to have two abilities. Let's see what they do. Nyx Assassin pops spikes out of his carapace, negating and reflecting damage dealt, as well as stunning the source of the damage. Okay, so this ability works exactly like it does in Dota, so it can reflect exactly one source of damage at a time. So, like, there's an attack about to fly at you. You just press this button, and then the damage of the attack is completely negated, and the opponent is stunned and dealt that damage that they were planning to deal. So it's a very useful ability. It can not only, of course, deflect basic attacks, it can also sometimes deflect spells. So I'm guessing in this case, it will always deflect basic attacks first, and then if you're lucky, you could deflect a spell. Or if the AI is somehow improved and knows when to, similar to Puck, knows when to dodge like big damage, reflecting it onto the enemy. This could potentially result in a lot of value, or it could result in a complete failure. Kind of a hit or miss thing. So, Vendetta. After teleporting, Nyx Assassin deals bonus damage to his next attack, on his next attack, and applies Break to the enemy, disabling all passive effects. So, yeah, Break is the exact same thing that Viper's Nether Toxin currently applies, that disables passive abilities. So, I'm guessing it says all passive abilities, so I'm guessing it should disable alliance bonuses as well. And not only that, but of course it disables things like Drow Ranger's Aura, can disable Phantom Assassin's Critical Strike, and so on and so on, you get it. So, after teleporting, so it looks like this Vendetta thing is going to be passive, similar to a Templar Assassin's Meld, while Spiked Carapace is going to be its active ability, which, in this case, I guess it will use it when having accumulated enough mana. In that case, I'm really hoping that if this ability is really is about accumulating mana, then it really should try to time it right so that it can deflect spell damage from like a Laguna Blade or Cuddle Weave or Assassinate, and not just some measly basic attack. So it's an insect assassin. Again, the practical applications of those insects aren't entirely clear yet. Just a whole bunch of tiny units can ruin your opponent's day, but from the sound of it, it doesn't really provide survivability or damage. So whatever it actually does, it's really hard to gauge right now, especially with Summoning Stone Gun. I guess that's quite a bit of a sort of a retroactive nerf to this thing, because I'm guessing this means the spiders will be really squishy and there will be no way to actually make them more survivable. So that's fine. Okay, Broodmother. Tier 4, actually. Ooh, alright. So, Insect Warlock. Oh my god, another Warlock. And it's tier 4 again. Okay, Volvo. Seriously now. This means you can make, if the good stuff meta is still alive, you'll be able to basically make a team that entirely consists of forecast units and higher, almost entirely with like Fudge being the exception and Slaughter perhaps, and have 4 different Warlocks that all cost 4 or higher. You'll have Necrovos, Alchemist, Broodmother, and Disruptor. So this is another buff, I'm guessing, to the good stuff meta because by virtue of being in a 4-cost Warlock. So the insect tag, of course, means it won't have too much synergy with the other things, with other warriors or other warlocks, because 2 of these things are assassins and 1 is a hunter. But I'm guessing those are just for different situations, and that you maybe aren't supposed to utilize her as an insect synergy more as much as you're supposed to utilize her as a warlock. But again, I could be completely wrong on all of this because we can't yet say how useful this insect synergy is going to be. So, Spin Web. Broodmother spins a web on top of an enemy unit. Enemies in the web lose attack speed, movement speed, and cast speed. Okay, so what is cast speed supposed to mean? My guess is that let's get the parts that are clear out of the way first. So, spins a web on top of an enemy unit. So, in Dota, these webs are like absolutely gigantic. They almost cover, like one web can almost cover the whole screen's worth of map. In this case, I'm guessing it won't be as huge and might not cover the entire battlefield. But this means, I'm guessing, this means that it will have a certain radius, like maybe a 1-cell radius, so you cast it on top of an enemy unit, and then every cell around that unit also becomes covered in that web. So enemies in the web lose attack speed, movement speed. That's pretty clear. So it's kind of like Venomous Gale type of effect. And cast speed. So cast speed means that I'm guessing that how, like, for example, Queen of Pain, when she's about to scream, she kind of like does this weird sort of animation before she can actually release the scream. And this animation can completely screw you over because if she doesn't finish the animation, she doesn't cast, and then oftentimes she can be stunned, silenced, or killed before she finishes the animation. So she ends up doing no damage at all. So this kind of animation is called cast point in Dota 2. So I'm guessing what this cast speed thing means is that this cast point will be a lot slower, which increases the chances of of the hero in question being silenced, stunned, or killed before it can actually finish the spell. So these high risk pieces that can miscast like that, not manage to cast in time, will have an even higher risk of not casting and dying in vain. So Queen of Pain is obviously the most notorious example. I'm trying to think of others off the top of my head. So I'm guessing Sniper is one, because Sniper's thing where he takes aim and before he's assassinated, it's kind of the same thing. It's also cast point. At least it used to be in Dota. Well, I'm guessing it still is here. Another one I can think of is Lich. I think Lich also like swings his arm before releasing his ability. That's another risky candidate. Tidehunter, you know how Tidehunter, he like raises his head into the sky before releasing those tentacles everywhere. That'll also be at risk. And another one is, of course, Konka. Yeah, Konka also, like, when he's about to send out his ship, he like moves his arm forward, which will all be even slower now. So when facing Broodmother, these pieces will be extremely hard to play because they will have a super high chance of just not using their spells at all. which is the most frustrating thing ever in this game, to me at least. And it's kind of puzzling, but I decided to take the game in that direction. We don't know the numbers, like I don't even know the radius of this thing, you know? It could be one cell, it could be two cells, who knows? Don't know how much damage this will do, you know? Don't know how long Weaver is going to travel in his Shikuchi, how much the healing will be amplified. We don't have the numbers at all. So what this means is all we can do is just speculate. It's kind of an interesting idea, this insect bonus, but insects. Come on now. You're better than this, Valve. Come on. And also, it's not clear yet if it's going to be any good. We need to see the other stuff to actually properly gauge all of this. So this is the end of this part. We'll continue to showcase our showcase of new heroes and allies tomorrow with part 2. See you then. Yeah, so basically they will release some information every day. By the looks of this all, I'm guessing they won't release the numbers of, you know, other stuff, which is unfortunate. But this means that no one will have like an unfair advantage because of some big brain calculation stuff. Like, you know, sometimes someone could perhaps perfectly calculate, you know, how much damage everything does and what is the optimal lineup even before everything is released. That wouldn't be too good, would it? Yeah, but right now we can see, so there are two different tier 2 heroes, one new tier 1 hero and one tier 4 hero. So this means that for now, at least, we can say that tier 2 heroes will be not a lot, but a bit harder to upgrade to 2 stars, harder than any other tier for now. But again, it's too early to make conclusions because there will definitely be more heroes. There will definitely be more other interesting stuff. So nothing is exactly clear right now. I'm really curious about this healer alliance, though. Like, it seems like since these are all from different classes, this means that not classes, but all from completely different alliances. Does this mean that all of their other alliances will stay in place? Or does it not? I am guessing it will, but you can't be entirely sure. You know, maybe I'm guessing maybe Omni Knight will keep his, you know, healer. Oh, I mean, human and knight status because these things are still true. Enchantress might keep or might lose her savage status, but I'm guessing she will still be a druid because, you know, there's only 4 druids for now, and I don't see any other source of them where they could come from. Okay, so Warlock. I'm guessing Warlock is keeping both of his Warlock and Bloodbound alliances because, you know, Warlock is in the name and Bloodbounds are already, like, there are only 2 units of them in the game, so you can't really, unless they're planning to remove the alliance entirely. I'm guessing it will stay here. Dazzle, we already know it's just going to be a Troll Warlock. Necrophos, well, the Necrophos is the one I'm unsure about because, you know, since they've just added another Warlock with his Broodmother, they might just go ahead and stop Necrophos from being a Warlock, so instead he will just be an undead healer. Heartless healer. That's my guess. If they are to remove any alliances from the existing heroes that are to become healers, Necrophos is my most likely candidate because, you know, this Warlock tag isn't in his name, it isn't in his lore, it isn't like anywhere, so it's kind of expendable, especially now that another Warlock is being added. At 4 cost, no less. Weaver, perhaps some sort of early game hunter build, maybe the Mega Reroll build will get a different route with Weaver and perhaps some other hero like Broodmother later. But that depends on how useful the insect bonus actually is. Nyx Assassin. So Nyx Assassin could of course make some big plays in the late game with Spiked Carapace, if my guess is correct, and you know, Spiked Carapace actually costs mana then I'm guessing Nyx Assassin will save it up and then use it when an opponent is about to use some spell that will hit him. Hopefully, anyway. In this case, Nyx Assassin will be able to make some huge plays in the late game, which is interesting because it's a one-cost unit. It's a very cool concept, one-cost units that are still useful in the late game. And I'm kind of hoping to see more of it. I'm not saying every one-cost unit should be like that, but having like 2 or 3 of them, I think could definitely be welcome. So yeah, that's all for now, as you can clearly see. So thank y'all for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye, and take care, everybody.